This is a clarification for the Zeta report on the Google Sky images issued a couple of days ago. The Zetas were asked about whether Nibiru had appeared on Google Sky, and they stated a 2008 image had, where otherwise covered by a black box by Google Sky, to comply with Reagan's National Security Executive Order for the cover-up over Nibiru. The Zetas were careful to only address the 2008 spot, which does align with their predicted location for Nibiru just to the right of Orion and below the ecliptic at declination -6. They were also careful to describe Google Sky lifting their black box to block this location as a hypothetical. But Nancy, being only human, got confused and overlooked, at first, some obvious clues. The video making the rounds and causing a flurry on Before It's News and Godlike Production discussion forums was not pointing to the same location as the 2008 region, long blacked out by Google Sky. Note the location being recently hyped is above the ecliptic at declination +22, and Nibiru has not yet pierced the ecliptic. Nibiru came from the direction of Orion in the south and will only pierce the ecliptic just ahead of the pole shift. Where the 2008 leak on Google Sky was the correct declination at the time, -6, the new videos put forth in 2012 and again in 2015 are touting declination +22, well above the ecliptic. This is a fraud. Deep sky mapping is done only periodically, and the only recent mapping of the 2008 Google Sky location at declination -6 was done by Weiss in 2010. It did not show Nibiru, which is a traveling planet, and has moved on during its approach toward the Earth for the passage. There in 2008, gone by 2010, no doubt moving on up toward the ecliptic. DSS mapping of this location at declination -6 also shows nothing, but the only images available were from way back in the 1990s, when Nibiru had not yet arrived into the inner solar system. WikiSky shows neither a black box nor Nibiru at the declination -6 location. But the WISE maps done in 2010 do show an object at declination +22 above the ecliptic, as do the DSS mapping done as far back as 1951. The videos claiming that Nibiru was showing up on Google Sky at declination +22 are a fraud. This is an existing object, not Nibiru, the traveling planet. This fraud was apparently started in 2012, but these were false claims in 2012 and they are false claims now. Where Nancy was confused and excited by the possibility that Google Earth would allow the public to closely track the inbound Nibiru, the Zetas were not confused by the fraud. Listen to this ZetaTalk written on June 13th, 2015. The object being discussed is a 2008 object. The location being discussed is always below the ecliptic, and Google Earth allowing the valid locations to be freed of any black box is described as a hypothetical. Is this Nibiru on the Google Sky images? Yes. This spot had long been covered by a black box in Google Sky as our path as viewed from Earth diagram, made public in 1997, showed this is where Nibiru would be found as it approached the Earth. The coordinates given in RA and DEC for the amateur astronomers peeking at the approaching complex in those days was also provided in 1997. We showed Nibiru to the right of Orion near the Eridanus constellation, which equates to the verbal description we have long given those seeking to see the Nibiru complex as being at the 4 o'clock position to the Sun when viewed from the northern hemisphere. Google was directed by the cover-up, in place since the days of Roswell by Reagan's executive order, to block access to this spot, though a leak occurred in 2008. Obama lifted the National Security Directive in 2012 and has been attempting to inform the public via an announcement, an issue which has been much covered in ZetaTalk. That Google has stepped ahead to release its black box block could be considered a form of a slow or creeping announcement. There it is. Note that this visibility does not require Google Sky, as a webcam in Italy has been displaying the complex daily, as noted on a pole-shifting blog. And remember, you don't need deep sky images to see Nibiru. It is showing up almost daily on an Italian webcam, and was there in 2003 when it was arriving, and could still be filmed in the night sky, and can be seen as a second sun during dawn or dusk on occasion, and is showing up on Soho images too.